name is Alex Norfolk, and I'm currently a research assistant at Borders and Globalization with the Borders and Globalization project. And I was doing research on preclearance most recently. And preclearance, what that basically means is the authority of your destination country when you're traveling checks you and clears you in customs, and you go through all those customs operations before you leave your country of origin. And so my particular project was looking at the preclearance within the Greater Victoria, or I guess Southern Vancouver Island, looking at the implementation of expanded preclearance operations. So that being mainly for marine crossings. So we're looking particularly at the ferry terminals in the Southern Vancouver Island. So as the Preclearance Act goes through the Senate, and I think it's finished the second reading now, this will have an impact on Victoria's basic modes of transportation. So we were looking at, I interviewed a number of private organizations who are mainly tourism operations or the ferry terminals, along with more federal institutions and the Customs and Border Protection Agency, to find out what the costs and benefits that may arise from expanded preclearance in the region, and to look at how it would be implemented. So in terms of border studies and how it kind of relates to that, is that we're seeing things like this preclearance go ahead. We see the borders being pushed out further and further. So for us and across border with the United States, we see the American border being pushed out into the Canadian cities, and it has an effect on the way we perceive the border authority and the powers that maybe Customs and Border officials have, and there are challenges involved with that. From the actual research that I was doing, there were several recommendations, and the primary recommendation was to ensure that Canadian and U.S. Governments kind of work together and collaborate to ensure that when preclearance does go forward and when we initiate these operations at these new border crossings, they are a collaborative effort, and that there's shared resources, and that basically it allows both sides to reap the benefits of what preclearance is. And that would go so far as to ensure that preclearance that Canada also kind of benefits from the reciprocal nature of the agreement, which means that CBSA officials would be stationed on the American side as well, eventually. But that is for the future research. This is my first conference, Borders and Globalization conference, and I'm very happy to attend. I feel it's a wonderful opportunity, just to be surrounded by the knowledge that exists on borders and cross-border research. It's fascinating. I think it's such a wonderful research project in general. It's such a wide-ranging project that kind of that addresses all spheres of what borders exactly are and how we perceive borders in the 21st century. And so it feels very immediate. It feels that we're tackling issues that are immediate, that are constantly changing, and we're changing with them, and we're adapting our research to address what's happening in the real world. And I feel that's incredibly useful, and for not only for us as an academic in an academic sphere, but also for policymakers and for governance in not only across Canada but internationally as well.